All right, to a crowd that far dwarfed what we saw in Nashville. It's a record setter in Nebraska. It's a record setter for women's sports. 92,003 people there to see it at Memorial Stadium, to see Volleyball Day, one of the best programs in the world, coached by John Cook, who spoke on playing at Memorial Stadium.
This is as close as I'm going to be being the head football coach in Nebraska playing down here. This is going to be awesome.
Packed. The stadium was packed. They're on the floor. They're to the rafters. They get the tunnel walkout. The smoke machine, all of it. The sun's starting to set in Nebraska. It's a beautiful night. They had to deal with some wind, they said, the higher some of the bumps in the sets got, but they were able to navigate it because they're taking on an Omaha squad that, quite frankly, Nebraska was expected to beat. And you could see in the first set, Andy Jackson doing just that. She had 8 kills. They take the first set 25-14. Magic Johnson. There's so many people dressed in all red. He's not wrong. I'm blown away. Shout out to all the Husker fans that showed their support for women's athletics and the Nebraska volleyball team. University of Nebraska students got the day off from class. John Cook said the only 3 things shut down the school: snowstorms, COVID, and Nebraska volleyball at the stadium. Bergen Riley shutting down that from Omaha in the second set. They take that 25-14. So let's go to match point. The crowd has the cell phones out, preserving for posterity what the record looked and sounded and felt like there as the Huskers win in 3 sets. They're 4-0 this season. Just for a point of reference, they eclipsed the football attendance record, which was 91,585. That was set back in 2014 against Miami. Putting this into perspective here, the volleyball game, not just the biggest event ever held at Memorial Stadium, the most fans Cornhuskers football, as we told you. There's also eclipsing the UEFA semifinal between Barcelona and Wolfsburg a year ago. That was in the 91,000 range. Tonight, Nebraska football takes on Minnesota at Huntington Bank Stadium. For perspective, that holds just under 51,000 people. And joining us now is a member of that Nebraska volleyball team. It is Merritt Beason with us this morning after a crazy night. So I guess that's my first question. How are you feeling after last night? Did you sleep at all?
I did a little bit, not a ton, but we're obviously so grateful for the opportunity. So we're a little sad that it's over, but we're excited to get moving with the rest of the season and to see how far we can take it.
What are some of the moments that continue to sort of flash behind your eyes here? As you were falling asleep last night, was it down the tunnel? Was it the crowd's reaction to certain points, match point, seeing the drones light up 92,003 in the sky? What was it like for you?
I would say my favorite 2 were the tunnel walk for sure. That was just so surreal. And then after the game was over, I would say the drones and just kind of the light show and the crowd going crazy was definitely when it set in the most, just because obviously when you're playing volleyball, you don't really take it all in a whole lot. It's really go, go, go. So I would say those are the 2 moments that we kind of got to sit back and to enjoy it the most.
There were so many people on social media who were just celebrating what it meant and what it looked like and what it felt like to generate this sort of response worldwide. People were enthralled by this. What did it mean to someone at the center of it to have that mark now? You were part of something that sets this global attendance record.
I said many times going into the match, it's very hard to grasp. We kind of didn't really know what to expect going in. Obviously, it had never been done before, so we were kind of like, okay, we'll just take it one by one point at a time, figure it out. You had to deal with wind, all sorts of factors that you don't deal with indoors. And obviously in front of a huge crowd, that's a little nerve-wracking. So we just kind of took it one point at a time. And I think now after the match, it's just so special that we can say that we were a part of it. And obviously it's huge for our sport, but for women's sports in general, it was so cool for us to kind of be the people to set the tone, and I have to give a ton of credit to Nebraska as a whole, the state, the athletic department, everyone who put so much into that night. And, like I said, we're kind of setting the tone for women's sports. So I think it's just the first stepping stone, and I'm excited to see what's next, whether that's softball, soccer, women's basketball, whatever it is. I'm just excited to see who kind of puts their spin on the next step.
So we're showing video, and I'm not sure if you can see it where you are. I'm not sure if you'd be able to see it on your phone since last night. But, I mean, there are young women. There are women who are 10, 12 years old in attendance who are going to remember being a part of it for the rest of their lives. I'm just curious if you have any grasp, any sort of perspective on what that feels like to now be in that role model role when you yourself are not that far removed from being a younger athlete yourself.
No, for sure. I remember being that young girl and watching the girls that were in college at the time and just watching them on the TV being like, man, I want to be like that one day. And so
Yeah.
for us to be able to be that and be on the flip side of it now is so cool. And I think that's what made last night so special is normally where we play in Bob Devaney, it's really, really hard to get tickets. So a lot
Hmm.
of young girls don't get the chance to come watch us in person. And so last night kind of gave them that opportunity. So that's why it was so cool because so many young girls were able to finally come and obviously watch one of our games, but also be a part of history. So it was very special.
Merritt Beason had 8 digs, 4 blocks, and a pair of aces to go along with 3 kills, as well as a share of a world record. Merritt, we appreciate it. Best of luck and best of health the rest of the season.
Thank you.